Hello, Rita. Thank you so much for buying my Etsy shop critique. I really appreciate your business. I know that you said this is your husband's store, so I'm really excited to help you both and give you the critique. Now, keep in mind the video will be published on my YouTube channel, but you guys are the only people that can actually see the video. No one else can. You could rewatch the video again at any given moment. I will provide you a link, which is the one that you got now, and you could go back to it and rewatch at any given moment. It will be there for the remainder of my YouTube career, which I hope is many, many years to come. And keep in mind that if at the end of the video, if you have any questions about anything, feel free to reach out to me on Etsy within, I would say within 24 to 48 hours when the store is fresh in my mind so I don't forget based on the question that you asked me. Now, what I normally do is I take a particular listing and I do a full audit. I talk about product photography, I talk about your Etsy titles, I talk about your listing description, on page SEO factors, off page SEO factors, the curation of your store, different marketing strategies that you could apply for your store and outside of your store, etc. So I do break it down into sections so it's easy for you guys to kind of follow along. Make sure that you grab a pen and paper, you have a notebook on handy with you. That way you can take a lot of notes. I did want to mention this right from the beginning. One thing that I noticed is that you guys have a little bit of too many things. You have coffee mugs, you have key rings, you have photo blocks, ornaments, and so much more. Like, who is your target market? This is really important because if you try to make products for anyone and everyone, that's when you start struggling with a lot of sales. So understanding who is your target market, which is the person who is most likely to enjoy and get benefit from your products. And you should know everything about them. I recommend for you to do a customer avatar of your customer, meaning where it's more than just knowing, oh, I create products for women or small business owners. It's more than that. Is knowing, everything about them, where they live, what are their hobbies, what motivates them, what brands do they follow, etc. This is really, really important to create an ideal custom avatar of your ideal customer. So when you are creating these products, you're creating products that solves a problem for your target market. And then when you're creating content outside of Etsy, so let's say you're creating content for your website or creating content for Pinterest or creating content for, let's say, YouTube, or if you have Instagram, that you're creating content that is searchable for your target audience. But I don't want to kind of go in that. That's a whole different ballpark. But I do recommend that you start doing research on how to create a customer avatar of your target customer and create products for those people. When you create products, just random products, you just add it to your store, you're winging it. You're just like, if I create more products, just add them, I'll get sales. And you get a couple sales here and there. But if you really want to be known for something, if you want to be an industry leader in your specific niche, you have to narrow down your products first. Once you grow your products and you start growing once you start growing your brand, your own audience will tell you what type of products that they would like you to add. And then you create a robust line of additional products. But in the beginning, it's very important that you niche down. And not only do you niche down, that you understand who is your target audience. Because right now, it just seems like there's a lot of different things in your store. And that is most likely one of the reasons why you're struggling with the store. Not saying that novelty gifts or stores that personalize items don't do well with multiple things, but it's really important that if you are gonna create a lot of different products like that, that you at least have your target audience. If I was to ask you now and you would tell me we don't know, then you need to work on that. That's really important because what you do outside of Etsy to market your business will either make you or break you. So if you're targeting to the wrong person, your products they're not going to buy. So you have to make sure you're targeting to the right people. Now that I said that, I'm going to jump in right into the actual audit of the listing, and I'm going to break it down into sections. So don't worry, make sure you take notes and let's get started. So the listing that I'm doing an audit on is this one right here. And the first thing I always talk about is product photography. And product photography is really important when you sell on an e-commerce platform like Etsy, because when you're browsing on Etsy, this is your product here. These are all your competitors around you. So definitely product photography is one of those things that either makes a person stop from browsing the feed, take notice of your product, and click on your product. That's the objective of your photo, is to make the person take notice of what you're selling. Another thing is that people are overwhelmed with options on Etsy. If you're getting a lot of views, but a lot of people are not buying, it's strictly because people are so overwhelmed. Like they might look at your product, like it, go to another store and find the same product for $1 cheaper or $2 less, or find something that they prefer the font a little bit different, whatever it is. But people are overwhelmed with options. So therefore, you have to make sure that when you create products in your store, it's not about adding 100 products, it's about adding quality products. What makes your product unique? And you have to make sure that you add your unique selling proposition, meaning what makes your product different than your competitors. That when a prospective customer sees your product and they look at it, it makes it a no-brainer for them to say, I need to buy from the store, right? Makes them a no-brainer to say, I'm going to go ahead and buy from Rita or Tracy. You definitely have to make sure that your product is different, because if it's not different, if it doesn't outperform your competitor, it does make it a lot harder for you to sell on a market that there's so many people selling similar products or the same thing. So keep that in mind. The photo looks good, especially when it's like this. It showcases the product. I'm not confused on what I'm getting. It's cropped in a complimentary way. So in that sense, you're doing everything correctly. It looks good. What I would recommend is having additional photos, of this particular product. You have this image here. You have this one that you explain a little bit of details of the mug, how to reach to you if you have an idea. But I don't see, this is a good one here because it has like the 11 and the 15, the difference of them. One thing that I would recommend is, one, filling this out, all 10 photos. And don't forget to add also your Etsy video as well in there. They're testing that out. I wouldn't be surprised in the future if videos will be like one thing that they recommend. Video is everywhere now. If you take a closer look at Instagram, they just added Instagram Reels. Then now they have TikTok. Now you go to YouTube, they have YouTube Live, they have Facebook Live, they have Instagram Stories. Why? Because video is growing. And in the future, it's going to be all video. So I wouldn't be surprised in the future if Etsy is going towards adding tons of videos to their listings. So I would definitely start practicing now. Create a quick video of your product and add it. Keep in mind, the more images you have here, the more videos, photos, etc., the more people engage with your brand, and hopefully they'll go ahead and start reading your listing description right here, and then make an informed decision if they want to proceed with the sale or not proceed with the sale. But you definitely need to make sure that you add more photos here. Good job for having this. I know that you have orders must be placed no later than February 2nd to guarantee delivery by Valentine's. So I do like that you have that there. I know that with shipping delays and all the issues that everyone has been having with the post office, it makes sense to go ahead and add that. So I think that's good. What I would do is, this right here, what I would do is just have the actual mug, maybe have a different background with somebody holding the mug. I will remove this and I will add this information in the listing description. I don't necessarily would add it here. I do like the difference of the sizes, because when they come here, that's where they're going to get buying here. So good job there. You have here, all white, black handle, all white, black handle. So I will have a picture Oh, you do. These are the white handles here. Okay. So what? Maybe have a picture here, um, of the black ones with the handle, and maybe have one with the white handles just by itself like that, just to kind of add another picture. Especially if you like, well, I don't know how many pictures or variations of photos I could do of the mug. That could be another one that you could add, just the same one, but instead with the white handle. Um, I know a lot of people say let's connect on social media, like on Instagram, and they put their Instagram handle. To be quite honest, it's more important for you to grow your email list. I will get rid of this completely. Um, a like or another follower doesn't guarantee sales. What you want to do is you want to start your email list. I didn't see in your store that you have an email list. I didn't see it on the bottom down here earlier when I checked. It's really important that you start an email list. And an email list, I'll send you a recommendation to the people that I work with that they're pretty amazing. But you could start any, you could sign up with any email provider that you want of your choice. But with an email list, not every single person that comes from XCSEO or comes from, let's say, Google or comes from your Instagram account to your store, not every person is going to buy, unfortunately. I wish that was the case. I wish that if I send 500 people to my store daily, the 500 people purchase from me. That would be pretty amazing, but it doesn't happen that way. Only a very small percentage of those people might click on my products, and maybe a small percentage might buy from me. So therefore, what do you do with the people that come to your store, they don't buy from you, and they leave? You need to capture their email. So what you need to do is have a picture here that you ask people, you offer them some sort of incentive to join your email list. And then you say link in description, and you put your email list here. You put the link where they could copy and paste to join your email list. And you could put your link in your About Me section because it does become a clickable link. And then you promote your link outside of Etsy. So anywhere you promote your business, Facebook, on your Instagram account, on your on, let's say you have a YouTube channel, you have a website, you promote it outside as well, Pinterest, etc. But you need to start capturing emails because, like I said, not every single person that come to your store is going to buy. So that's one strategy that you should start implementing in order to nurture that list, grow brand awareness. And the great thing about your email list is that once you have that customer, you could remarket to them your products and services. And you could also say, hey, by the way, we are on Instagram or we are on Facebook. Then you could cross promote to your other social media platforms and grow your social media with your email list. But at first, instead of getting a follower, you need to get the email. The email is more important because you could remarket to them later. You could do Facebook ads where you tell Facebook, hey, here's my email list. I'm running a special. I want to show it to them only. You could create a lookalike audience on Facebook and tell Facebook, hey, I need you to find me new customers that are very similar to these customers that already purchased from me. It's going to be so beneficial for you. The way that you grow a business and get sales on a continuous basis is having an email list. That's what an email list does for you. So I recommend you taking the time to create the email list as soon as you can for your business and starting that. In addition to that, what I recommend is having a photo where you tell people, hey, don't forget to like this listing to stay updated with our latest tips, our latest promotions, or our latest list sales. Or you could say, let me see what I have on mine. I can't even think straight right now. Let me go to mine. So I have this like little, don't forget to like this listing to stay updated with any sales or new updates. So having a link that points to the heart so they could favor this here. This is another strategy because, some people might go ahead and sign up for your email, but some people might not. So by you telling people, hey, don't forget to favor this listing, that's them, taking action and liking your listing. And what's nice about that is that one strategy that I do every single month is that twice a month, so I do it like every other Monday, I fluctuate my prices by 20 cents. So I lower my price 20 cents only. And every single person that ever favored one of my listings get a free notification from Etsy saying, hey, by the way, this store just lowered their prices. They have a sale. And they get a notification right here. It will say, an item you favor is now on sale. So these are stuff that I have favored online that I get notifications from. So even if a small percentage of these people come back every other week and they buy from me, that's more sales. The ultimate goal is how can you excuse me about that. The ultimate goal is how can you elevate your store to the next level? What are some things that you could do that's going to get you more sales? Is this strategy going to make you a millionaire by night? No, it's not. But would it help you get 5, 10 additional sales every single month? Yes, it does. So make sure that you have a photo asking people to favorite your listing. That way, when you do fluctuate your prices, they get a free notification. Hopefully, they'll come back to your store, and the second time around, they'll buy from you. So that's another marketing strategy that you could start implementing that would definitely help you get more sales. All right, sorry about that. My husband was walking in and I wanted to pause it because I didn't want for you guys to hear a whole bunch of noise in the background. But let's go ahead and proceed. So, like I was saying, having these additional photos here are going to help you, making sure that you have different systems in place. So one system is your email marketing, so you could start getting emails, so you could cross promote your brand, so you could remarket to them your products and services and get sales on a continuous basis. Having the other image asking people to favor your store. So therefore, you have something in place that when you fluctuate the prices, they come back and hopefully the second time buy from you. Making sure that you have additional photos in your actual listing description. That way, the longer the customer stays in your store, the higher the probability that they will go ahead and engage with your listing description, learn a little bit more about your product, and hopefully buy from you as well. So these are all things that in the long run are going to help you get more sales on a continuous basis. Don't forget to add more photos here. Don't forget to also have your Etsy video. Another thing that I will recommend is branding, learning how to brand your store. For instance, if I saw this listing here, this one here, this one here, and this one here on the Etsy search feed, I would think that is from 4 different stores because you're not using watermarks and the background is so different that they look like they're from different stores. So how you create your photos, the colors that you pick for branding does make a huge difference because it could make people remember you as a brand. And people buy from brands that they know, that they like, and they trust. And in order to do that, sometimes, unfortunately, somebody has to come across your product more than 7 times before they even buy from you. But if they can't remember your store from the first place because you don't have branding in place, it might take a little bit longer for them to buy. So keep that in mind. Branding is really important for you to stand out, especially because you're selling very similar products to what many other people sell on Etsy. And you are in a saturated market. So what are you doing to make yourself look different? One, the way you do so, like I mentioned in the beginning, is creating products for your target audience, understanding who is your target audience, understanding what makes your products different, what makes your product unique, and that outperforms the competitors, that when the person sees your product, they don't mind paying the shipping, they don't mind paying premium price because they know they're not going to get this product nowhere else. That's how you create products that people are going to buy from you. And then because you understand who your target market is, then you could create additional products cater for those people that they will buy from you over and over and over again. So make sure that, if you go to YouTube or you go to Pinterest or you Google it, there's a lot of videos on branding 101. You could do it yourself, or you could hire someone like an expert in branding that they could come take over and, do your banner, do your logo, do your aesthetic, all the same, watermark your photos, etc. So you can have that aesthetic photos, and making sure that your photos here are all sized the same. So you have the square image here. You have this one that I believe is a square too. You have this one is not a square. So aesthetically, just having all your images sized the same way. Um, is it a huge deal? No, but for branding, you do want to make sure that all your photos are sized the same way as well. So these are my tips for your photos and things that you could do here, different marketing strategies that you could start implementing to help you with sales. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is your title. So this will be considered a keyword stuff title. And to Etsy, what that means is when you use a string of keywords together. So you didn't put anything like, get this dog lover's mug. There is a gift that you could give for him. That would be considered more of a title that they want. With having, it sounds more something like easier to read, fluid, versus a whole bunch of keywords. I'm not confused on the keywords. I know exactly what you're selling. I think it's okay. But with Etsy and how they want us to do it is that they want it to be easy for the customer to read. They prefer not having a strings of words. Right now, Etsy doesn't really penalize you for having it this way. I have some of my listings like this too. I'm trying to change them all. It does take a lot of work to do that. But keep in mind, I wouldn't be surprised in the future if Etsy does penalize stores that have keyword stuffing. We'll see in the future if they do or not. I know Google does, and they're trying to be compliant with Google as well. So that's the reason why when you go to the handbook, they recommend not having them, not listing a string of keywords. If this is your main keyword here, dog lover's mug, make sure that you're optimizing your listing for Etsy SEO. I don't see it here in your first 155 characters, dog lover's mug, and then I don't see your keywords in your actual listing. So what that tells me is that you're not optimizing your listings for SEO the right way. And that's fine. That's the reason why you purchased this critique. And I'm going to go over that with you right now. So whatever keyword you put here in the beginning of your title actually becomes the URL of that listing. It becomes the main keyword. That's why they call it the focus keyword. Now, the first 155 characters of your listing description is considered the meta description, and this is an off-page SEO factor. When people search for your products, they could be seen on Etsy search feed, and they also could be found on Google. So your listings are shown on both Etsy and on Google. So you want to make sure that your listings are optimized for Etsy SEO, but it's also optimized for Google SEO. And one of the requirements is that your first 155 characters, it has your focus keyword, which will be this one here that you put. It has a short description of what you're selling and some sort of call to action. And a call to action is basically you telling the customer, click to learn more, click to grab yours today, click to shop now, click here to learn more about my products. Those are call to actions. You're essentially telling the prospective buyer what type of action you want them to take next. And that increases your click-through rate, and hopefully they'll come back to your store. They click on the link, look at your store and go from there. So this is what people see. I'm using eRank Pro, and this is what people see on Google, and this is what people see on Etsy, and this is what people see on Google. So on Etsy, all they see is the first few words because everything gets truncated. So they see the dog lover's mug. And then on Google, they see the dog's lover mug because that becomes the title of the page. And the URL, it becomes part of the URL, as you can see right here. And then they see this here. But this is not enticing. It's not going to make somebody from Google want to click to learn more. And you want to include in here, shop now or click to learn more. You want to tell the person what to do next. So what you want to do is every time you upload a listing on Etsy, whether it's a new listing or you're editing a listing, what you could do is if you go down here, I don't know if you know this, but you could preview listing as a Google search result. So you could click here, show preview, and you're able to see Etsy shop critique. So that's like my main keyword. And then I have my meta description. Hi, I'm Nancy. Nice to meet you. Get my Etsy shop critique and let me help you build a thriving Etsy business. Click to learn more and get yours today. So this is what people see on Google. It's easy. If they read it, they know exactly what they're buying. And hopefully, because I'm saying click to learn more, they'll click to learn more about what exactly they get. And hopefully from there, make an informed decision if they want to proceed and buy from me. That's what you want to have on every single listing. And that meta description is they pull it from right here, the first 155 characters. So I will push this down and focus on having your focus keyword here, a description of what you're selling, and a call to action. In addition to that, all of these keywords that you're using in your listing, these right here, these have to be added to your actual listing description. You have to add them in here organically, because that's how you optimize your listing for SEO. And by putting those keywords here, whenever somebody types in the search query one of those keywords, the algorithm will take notice that you have those keywords in your actual listing description and will rank your products higher in the search feed. Right now, the reason why your products are not ranking high in the search feed is because you never optimized this for SEO. So you didn't add your keywords in here. You have them here, you have them in your tags, but you forgot to put them here. So you have to put them in here as well. And let me see your tags, because a lot of times people don't have title and tag relevancy. They just add different keywords here. And then the tags, they have different keywords for some reason too. So let's see, you have coffee mug. Let's see if you have that as a keyword. Coffee mug, you have, no, you have custom mug, coffee mug. Okay, you do have that one. Then you have fun. Sorry about that. People are texting when I'm doing a video. I apologize for that. So then you have fun coffee mug. Let's see here. Fun. You don't have it here. You see how you added it here as a keyword, fun coffee mug, but you didn't use it in your tags. And then you have gift for him and gift for coworker. Gift for him, you don't have it here. You have gift for coworker, but you don't have gift for him. So you want to make sure that whatever keywords you put in the title, you also use the exact keywords in your tags for title and tag relevancy. That's really important for Google, for Etsy and Google, for just basically Etsy SEO. So you want to make sure that your titles are in your title, that your tags are in your title, that they're in your listing description, and they're also in your tags. And you want to make sure you include them the same way you wrote them. So if you wrote coffee mug, then you should have that in your listing description as well as your tag. You shouldn't have coffee mug and then on your tag mug coffee. You have to have it in the same order as well. So make sure that you fix that on all of your listings. And what I recommend, whenever you go back to a listing and you're fixing the Etsy SEO portion of it, that you make a duplicate copy of this listing and fix it. The reason why is because when you add a new listing to your store, you get a temporary boost in the search results and you get a listing quality score. So based on how people interact with your listing, if a lot of people interact with your listing, they like it, they're buying from you, you get a positive listing quality score. And you could potentially become a bestseller. But if you have a listing that no one is interacting, no one is liking, no one is buying, especially because it was never optimized the correct way, you will get assigned a low listing quality score, which means that your listing placement on the search feed, your listing will rank lower in the search feed. So what you want to do is, this one is already, the listing quality score is very low. So what you want to do is just go ahead, duplicate this one, fix the SEO, and publish the new one. You will get charged 20 cents for the new listing. Publish that one so you could have a higher listing quality score. Keep in mind, you could keep this one for A/B testing to see how this one performs compared to the new one that you just created, or you could just delete it. It's really up to you. But the most important thing that you need to do is make sure that you make a duplicate copy edit it, and then publish that one so you could potentially rank higher in the search feed, saying that people are interacting with your listing, you pick the right keywords, you have amazing photos, and people are finding your products great for them, right? Like they're interacting, engaging, clicking, and buying. But I wanted to look at your keywords because I did want to go over them with you. And these are your keywords right now. You see the red ones right here? They have a lot of competition. So if you use a keyword like coffee mug, that's very competitive. Um, Look at how many people are using coffee mug on Etsy right now. 1.2 million people, Etsy sellers, have that keyword. So this keyword is very hard for you to rank for. It's one of those keywords that, unless you became a bestseller in the beginning, you're probably buried in the search feed, meaning that no one's really finding you with that keyword. So what you want to make sure that you do when you're doing keyword research for your listings is that, one, you're finding keywords that accurately describe what you sell. I understand why you picked that one. It does describe what you sell, accurately describes what you sell. But you want to make sure that your average search volume is at least 500 or more. But you want the competition to be at least 30,000 or less. With those type of numbers, you could rank organically a lot easier. With keywords that are very competitive like this, like 1.2 million, it's almost impossible for you to rank for that on the first or second page because you want to be on this page. You don't want to be on page, 55 down here somewhere because people don't go that far when they're shopping. One great thing that you should be doing is using long tail keywords. And long tail keywords are when you use 3 keywords or more. So those type of keywords have less volume in the search volume, like monthly search volume, but the competition is a lot less. And they do convert a lot higher. So they're more quality keywords. For instance, if I sell shoes and I just put the word shoes, that's very competitive. Somebody that types in shoes on the search feed, they don't really know what they want. They're probably just shopping. But as a seller, if I use a keyword like red woman's running shoe, and as a buyer, if I type in on the search feed red woman's running shoe, I come across your listing and your product is exactly what I need, right? Because I'm searching with an intent to buy. If I type in red woman's running shoe, I know what I want. I want running shoes for women that are red. So if you sell that product and your product pops up, guess what? I'm more likely to become a buyer. So when you do long tail keywords, you do tend to get people that have a higher conversion rate than when you use a keyword that's very generic, like coffee, or something like this that is so competitive that you don't even have a chance to show your product to no one. This explains here, not only because your listing didn't get optimized correctly for SEO, but also here it explains why you're not getting as much traffic to your store to convert people into actual sales, because you're using a lot of keywords that, one, are very competitive, two, very generic. This is very generic. You're using the word fun for a coffee mug. Well, if you type in the word fun on Etsy, you're going to get all random things, from this mask, from these socks, to this duck earrings, to just random things. You don't want that. You want to make sure that you use keywords that accurately describe what you sell. That if your target customer was searching for this coffee mug, I don't think they would type in fun, right? Like I wouldn't type in fun to find a dog coffee mug. I would put in dog coffee mug. That's more accurate. You have funny dog mug. That's a good one here. Unfortunately, it doesn't have that much traffic, so you would just have to keep playing with different variations of this, something like this. But you definitely need to redo your keywords because a lot of these are too generic like this, and then a lot of them have too much competition. What I recommend is using tools and going to Keyword Explorer, and you could just go here, just sit down, write on a piece of paper, come up with 10 to 15 keywords that accurately describe what you sell. So let's say I wanted to do keyword research for this. It says I work hard, so my dog can have a better life. So it's a funny, and I see why you used the one here that you did for funny dog mug. So what you could do is you could even type that one, even though that one is not giving you that much traction. But you could type it in. It's going to give you the information for that keyword here. So average search volume for that keyword is 0. Not too many people are searching for that. Competition is not too bad, but you want to keep it under 30. And then when you come down here, it's going to give you additional keywords that are somewhat relevant to what you search for. And sometimes you'll find good keywords here. Sometimes you don't find anything. Like right now, I'm not finding anything that would be useful that accurately describes what you sell that you could get some traffic, because these are too over competitive. And this one, you might be able to use this one. Funny dog coffee mug. It is a long tail keyword. This is better than the ones you have now. For instance, this one that has less than 20, like, you're not getting no search volume. This one, no one's really searching for. So it's better to have this one that 181 people are searching per month versus 0 people are searching per month. I hope that makes sense. But when you're doing keyword research, if you can't find keywords that have 500, make an informed decision and say, okay, well, this one gets 200 monthly searches. Well, 200 is better than 0, right? So you could potentially use that one. This will be one that I would use for that one. And you would just have to keep doing that with the keywords that you came up, put them here, start doing research. Another important thing to realize is, are your products seasonal or are your products evergreen? Because I have done research for coffee mugs, and when I did Google Trends, I've noticed that coffee mugs were more sold on October to December, and after that they took a little bit of a dip. So if you go to Google Trends, and this is something that when you do market research and you're creating products that you want to sell, this is something you're supposed to do prior to creating your products, because this will tell you, okay, am I going to have like a good 3 months out of the year, and then after that it's going to be like slower? Or is this a product that I could sell year round, etc., right? So right here, it shows you that, as you can see, in November it starts to rise, December, and then it kind of dies off. You see how it dies off? And then when I looked at you could look at years. So I did a 5 years. And look, it's the same trend in the last 5 years. When you go here, the highest month is from late October to January, and it's the same every year. So that shows you that your product is not evergreen, meaning you're not going to have these peaks all year round. It doesn't mean you can't sell it. It just means it's going to be a little bit harder for you to sell this. It's almost like I have a wedding store, and I know from March to August, those are my best months. Do I still sell like September, October, November, December? Yes, but it is so low compared to my peak season. So in my peak season, I do tend to work harder to overcompensate for the months that I know I'm not going to get sales. So you might have to do the same, or this might be a decision for you to make and say, okay, well, I need to maybe sell different products because I need to make money year round, right? Or maybe these months you're going to work a little bit harder to make that extra money that otherwise is going to be harder for you to do. But this is important for you to know about your products. And the more you know about your products, your market, who is your target audience, the easier it will be for you to have a system in place to get sales all the time and grow. But if you don't know this information, then you're just sitting there thinking like, why am I not selling? Why is it, why did I sell so many in October? Oh, it must have been because it was the holiday season. Well, not necessarily in this situation, right? Because it just seems like in those months, especially if you're in a city like me in Chicago, those are the months that it's like fall, it's getting a little bit colder. It could be because of the holiday season, but it shows that it starts in October, a little bit sooner than the holiday season. So just keep that in mind. It's really important that you start understanding your products and everything, because that definitely really, really helps you. Let me go in here and go back to your tags. And let's say once you do keyword research and you have your new tags, the tag that has the most monthly search volume with the least competition, that's going to be the tag that you're going to put in your title, you're going to put in your meta description, and then the other additional keywords, you're going to sprinkle them in your actual listing description. And then you want to make sure that you also add them in your tag section. So that way your listing is optimized for SEO the right way. In addition to that, what I will recommend is having a link here to your homepage. I'll show you mine if that helps. So let me publish this real quick. So in the bottom of the listing, I have a link right here that goes to my homepage, and then I have a link that goes to additional products that I sell. The reason why is because I don't want people to come down here and now they're looking at my competitors. I want them to stay in my actual store. So by having that there, it does help, hopefully, right? Because I can't guarantee that they will click on it, but it does help for them to stay longer in your store. Or probably click on your homepage, now engage with your additional products in your store and not look at your competitors. So, that's one of the disadvantages of selling on Etsy, is that your competitors are in the bottom of the screen. So you want to do everything possible to keep that customer in your store. So that's one strategy that you could start implementing, which is putting that link right at the end of your listing description to keep them from coming down here, looking at someone else's listing, clicking on it, and leaving your page. I think you did a good job with describing what they buy, the shipping time. What I would do is, addition to that, I would include how to order as well. There's a lot of people that is their first time shopping on Etsy. They don't really know how to order or what's the process. So just having here, how to order. Shipping policy is great. Returns and refunds if you have any. You have here if you need any assistance ordering or have any questions. This is great. And then maybe finishing it off with your name, thanks Tracy, or thanks Rita, or Rita and Tracy, whatever you want to use. But just, making sure that you add your name, add a touch of the person that actually sells in the store. But other than that, I think you did a really good job with your listing description. It just needs to be a little bit longer with more information about how to order and returns and refunds, and then making sure that it's optimized for SEO, because, at the end of the day, you're selling on Etsy because you're taking advantage of their building traffic. But if you don't optimize your listings for SEO the right way, unfortunately, you're leaving a lot of money on the table because people are not, finding your products. So in order to gain your visibility, you definitely need to go ahead and add your keywords in there, so that way the search query understands what your page is all about. So let's go ahead and look at your shop now. Actually, let me go back to your listing because I wanted to look at your category. So perfect. And your attributes, white retirement. Okay, so this cup that you're selling is a cup about dogs, about how you work, right? I work hard so my dog can have a better life. I wouldn't tag it as retirement, right? Because the cup says you're working hard. So the person is not retired. And the reason why you don't want to put that there is because the tags here, like attributes, these attributes work like tags. And when you're doing keyword research or you're choosing tags here or categories, you want to make sure you choose the right attributes, the right tags, and the right categories. If you pick any type of attribute just to add something there, if your product is shown to those people, but they're not really looking for that, it hurts your conversion rate. More people see your listing less people buy, it hurts your conversion rate. So you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that when you're using attributes, you only add attributes that are accurately describes what you sell. So I wouldn't put here retirement. I wouldn't put here, let's say, occasion wedding, because it has nothing to do with that. So make sure that when you're picking these particular attributes, that it goes exactly with what you're selling. There are people that search on Etsy through keywords. They'll type in funny mug, and there's people that search through attributes, right? They'll go to the search feed here, and these are the attributes here, and they search here. They put filters. They say, okay, I want under 25, and I want something for retirement. But if your product shows up and it's not about retirement, it did show it to someone, right? And unfortunately, that will count against your store. Etsy will take that as a oh well, this person saw it, they didn't buy it, and it's like a strike against that product. So you don't want that. Make sure that you only pick attributes that accurately describes what you sell. That you only pick keywords that accurately describes what you sell. That you only choose categories that is for the product that you sell. That way you have a better chance of showing products to people that are really interested in your products, that they will more likely buy from you versus just showing it to everyone and anyone. And then at the end of the day, it hurts your conversion rate, and then your listings are sinking in the search feed. Another thing that you want to do is you want to optimize your entire store for SEO. So one thing that you want to make sure that you do is that you come up with 10 to 15 keywords that accurately describe all the different products that you sell. And you want to do the same standards. You want to have keywords that have a monthly search volume of 500 and more, that has a competition of 30,000 or less, and kind of go from there. And when you find these keywords that accurately describe what you sell, what you want to do now is you want to optimize your entire store for SEO. So you want to put keywords in your tagline. You want to put keywords here in your shop announcement, so you have to write a little bit more than one sentence. You want to name your sections for keywords, because keep in mind that your sections here become the page title of that particular section, and that's shown on Google. So you want to make sure it's optimized correctly. You want to make sure that you put keywords in your title, and you want to make sure you put keywords in your actual about me story as well. You mix it in there as well. This is going to help you get more traffic to your products, because whenever somebody types in these specific keywords on Etsy's algorithm, the algorithm is going to take notice that you have them, and it's going to start sending you more traffic back to your store. But you definitely need to optimize not only your products for SEO, but also your entire store for Etsy SEO. I think you did a good job on here. You have, your name, a little bit more about yourself. You have your beautiful wife Rita and her information, so that's great. You guys have photos of each other, like yourself, Rita, and then of Tracy. You have your photo up here. It's a beautiful photo. You're smiling. I always tell people, have a picture of yourself smiling. It's so inviting when somebody comes to your store and they see your picture and you're smiling. So great job there. Great job here. You both are smiling here as well. You do have your about me. I will focus a little bit more writing a little bit longer if you can. Optimizing this for SEO, and put photos up here. Maybe put a photo of you working on your products. It doesn't necessarily have to be of yourself if you don't feel comfortable, but it could just be of you creating the product, just your hand. It doesn't have to be specifically one of yourself, but just having a photo there, maybe a video as well, since you're able to do videos. Don't forget to fill out as much as you can your shop policies. One of the requirements for all the stores is to have an about me story and have your shop policy updated. When you do so, it does have an effect on how your listings are shown on Etsy. This is on the handbook. They talk about it. A lot of people don't have an about me filled out. They don't have the shop policies. You guys at least have the the About Me filled out, so good job there. Um, you have your logo, you have your banner, excuse me, you have your logo, you have your logo here, you have your banner up here. Your logo matches your banner, which I like. The colors kind of match each other as well. You got great reviews, so that looks good. One thing that I would say also about the reviews, let's see. Oops, not reviews. I wanted to click on the sales. You see how when I click on 56, it opens right here all of the listings that you have sold. I actually close that. I don't let no one see that. I have this closed. I don't have it open. If you go to settings in your dashboard here, you go in, you're able to close it. I like closing it because I don't want my competitors to see what are my top listings. If I was your competitor right now, I could come here and say, oh, Tracy sells this cup a lot. I'm going to create the same cup. Let's go to the second page. And then you see, they could see, oh, he sold this a lot. This is his number one thing that he sells. And then they'll go ahead and copy you. Another thing is be careful in the future with selling trademark stuff. Like this right here is like the Grinch. Unfortunately, there's a lot of stores that are breaking the rules, that are selling that. And sometimes we feel like, well, if they're selling it, we could sell it too. But you don't want your store to get shut down because of it, or someone to file like a lawsuit because you're using something that is trademarked. So just want to put it out there because I think it's important that if I'm helping you do a critique, these are things that are important for me to say. So just be careful with that. But I would close this out and not let anyone actually see my sales. See how mine's, you can't click on it, you can't see it. And that's how I keep mine's. I will recommend that for your store. Maybe right now you might think it's not a big deal, but then if you do take off and you blow up, then you want to keep some privacy a little bit, or as much as you can, right? It's not the end of the world if you leave it open either, okay? So if you feel like you don't want to close it, you could leave it open. It's just something that I have learned with my own stores, and maybe because I'm more in the public and people do tend to copy more of my stuff and steal a lot from me. Maybe that's why I'm a little guarded about it and I have it closed. But it's really ultimately up to you. But yeah, these are my tips for you today. I think the biggest takeaway from your store, Rita and Tracy, is Etsy SEO, because you have not optimized it correctly, and that's going to drive you traffic to your store. 2, having systems in place, making sure that you're expanding your digital footprint. You're not just relying on Etsy SEO only. That's a good strategy, but that could only take you so far because there's so many people selling similar items. So in order for you to stand out and become an authority in your niche, you need to understand who is your target audience. You need to create products catered for your target audience. You need to have system in place and have an email list, and make sure that you are expanding your digital footprint and using some sort of like a website or YouTube, something that uses the search engine, that you could start creating content on a weekly basis for years to come. So that way you could gain authority from Google and start driving more traffic back to your products, to your services, to your email list, and much more. That's how you continue to grow. These are the things that not too many people are willing to do, that if you do, will set you apart from other stores. It's not enough just to have an Etsy store with Etsy SEO. It's not enough. You have to create an email list, and you have to separate yourself from everyone else with branding, and you have to make sure that you are expanding your digital footprint. And the best way is if you're using social media, Pinterest, and I do highly recommend having a website where you blog about your products, because that is an SEO factor that Etsy recommends, having backlinks pointing back to your actual Etsy shop. It helps you gain authority from Google, drives more traffic to your website, and therefore more traffic back to your Etsy store. But these are my tips. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at any given moment. And thanks again for your business.